All right, we are back here in Claremont for the bottom half of the first inning. We were aware that the audio was not working. We had to catch up the live stats as we got the lineups just moments before the game started. But we'll get you all caught up in just a moment as Eileen Valderas is quickly behind 0-2. The Huskies went down 1-2-3 in the first inning. A foul pop-up just wide of the line at third. A strikeout looking. And a ground ball back to the circle. So a quick 1-2-3 first for Brooklyn Meller. Nice start for the CSI starting pitcher. And now the Dolphins go to work at the plate with no score as Valderas goes down looking at a called strike three. One quick out here in the home half of the first, and very quickly we'll get you the starting lineups in just a moment. Anissa Acosta, the batter now. And Acosta hits one high on the infield. And that is caught in fair territory. Two quick outs.
Very fast-moving first inning here. And once again, a little bit of technical difficulties. This game did start on time at 4:15, approximately.
They were close. We had to change fields. That was the big difference maker as Olivia Wanzer lines a base hit into shallow left field. How about this aggressiveness from the Dolphins early?
Well, that is a certain coach's philosophy, especially with a team like St. Cloud here that is very good. Chances are these pitchers love getting ahead in the count. So very early on in the at-bat, you're going to see stuff to swing at, and Amanda Stalker just swung there.
Well, Dolphins go down very quickly. I believe that was a 6-pitch inning, if I'm not mistaken, and the Dolphins strand one on base. So what we'll do is stay right here and get you the starting lineups as we missed the top half of the first. First for the Dolphins, leading off Eileen Valderas, followed by Anissa Acosta, Olivia Wanzer, and Amanda Stalker. The rest of the Dolphins lineup, Bridget Motley, Olivia Warner, Soleil Smith, Madeline Paul, Deanna Dubois, and then, of course, in the circle, Brooklyn Meller. Now, the Huskies have a great pronunciation guide that I will need to use as I go down their starting lineup, so bear with me. We're going to do our best. Leading off for the Huskies, number 28, Reese Holseder. Batting second, wearing number 15, is Brooke Holmes. Batting third and wearing number 18 is Bethany Weiss. In the cleanup spot, batting fourth is number 14, Maggie Fitzgerald. Batting fifth, designated player. She wears number 16, Sydney Rowe. Batting seventh and playing shortstop is Grace Frechette. Batting seventh and playing right field is number 12, Corey Needham. Batting eighth and playing second base, wearing number 20, is Grace Damon. And batting ninth and playing center field is number 23, Bree Beck. In the circle for the Huskies and wearing number 34 is Emma Eichhoff. Those are the starting lineups for both teams.
Not too bad for you.
Well, the pronunciation guide was very detailed. That makes all the difference, Joe. If there's ever a question mark and there's no pronunciation guide, you kind of get stuck where you are and have to guess.
Love when programs add that little detail because it's incredibly important, and you know, in our instance, we can have something to refer back to as the game progresses.
So it will be the cleanup hitter, Maggie Fitzgerald, leading things off in the second inning for the Huskies, and she has a 1-1 count.
This is Neller's second appearance here in Claremont. Her first appearance came in a relief appearance. She went 5 innings, gave up an earned run in CSI's loss to Franklin Pierce earlier on this week. So this is her first start down here, Joe, and up until this point, she's been able to mix and match pitch locations very, very well. We'll see what she could do with her first start of the season.
And that is chopped foul. Count even at 2 now. Well, as we've spoken about, Meller pitched really well in her first outing. Came on in a tough situation where that game very easily could have gotten out of hand, and Meller was able to keep the Dolphins where they were for much of that game, gave up the one late run.
And that 7-3 loss to the Ravens.
And that pitch is in for a called strike 3. Second strikeout for Meller, and there's one away in the second.
Her changeup is her most effective pitch. She's one of those rare pitchers who prefers the off-speed pitches more so than to her fastball, but she does effectively throw her fastball.
Oh, you could hear that fastball, the pop of the mitt.
Yeah, she really dials it back and gets it in when she has to, but again, she prefers the changeup, which is very, very effective.
That's hit in the air. Foul ground in left field, and Dubois makes the catch. So the Dolphins going with an outfield alignment that I don't believe we've seen yet.
Is that a sneeze?
Yes, it was.
God bless you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Dubois in left, Stalker in center, and Smith in right. That pitch in for a called strike. Count on Sidney Rowe. 0-2. Check that 0-1. Now, did I input that last out? I did not. So let's back up a minute.
It was a fly ball, foul ball to left field at Dubois.
Yeah, I did not put that in.
Count is 0-2 on the batter.
I was about to say, I know Rowe was just at the plate. This is Grace for Chet.
That's popped straight back.
She sends one foul over our heads.
Neller, like she did the other night against Franklin Pierce, doing an excellent job here, getting ahead in the count early.
That sails high. Well, it certainly helps, Joe, when each of your games are at the same field. We had to uproot the operation down the Coliseum stairs and back behind home plate. We got here probably about 5 or 10 minutes before they started. Had to wrap up the last game, set up the current game. By the time the lineups were in, we had 3 outs in the first inning.
Had time for a messy ice cream in between?
You did.
I did. You didn't.
I would have liked one. Maybe on the way out. Probably not, though. As that misses up and away.
$3 soft serve cone, can't beat it.
Sounds like a good deal to me, but
the lickety split truck was coming back home on Staten Island. It'd be like, what, $5.50, $6.50? I mean, at least twice the price. One of the benefits of being in Florida. Yeah, absolutely.
There's a swing and a miss for strike 3. Frechette goes down swinging, and Brooklyn Meller has 3 strikeouts in the first 2 innings. Dolphins come to bat with no score when we come back. Home second inning from the spring games in Claremont. And in this game, we have had 9 very quick outs.
Most of the pitches that we've seen from both pitchers, not really utilizing their fastball, taking something off these pitches. Been very, very effective for both sides here.
Count on Bridget Motley, 1-1. She dribbles one to short. And a strong throw is muffed at first.
I believe that's an E3.
Yeah, it's an E3 on the muffed throw, but that was hit pretty deep in the hole. If the error had been on the throw, maybe you could have said hit on that one, but definitely not on the muff.
No, absolutely not. All right, so
what do you think? If
once again, we're on the same page.
If the throw had been awry, do you think you would have given that a hit in the hole out of curiosity?
No.
And that gets through at third base into left field for a hit. Hit hard enough, Joe?
Absolutely.
I think so.
I think so, too.
We're on the same page.
Yes.
Joe squared.
It's Olivia Warner coming up, and she's hit the ball very well this whole trip. Gotten underneath a couple of pitches, but hit the ball hard nonetheless. Dolphins' first 2 base runners on in this inning.
Dolphins have been in attack mode early. Soleil Smith swings and misses for strike 1. First 2 batters on for the Dolphins here in the second. Nobody out. Soleil Smith was on deck as a pinch hitter earlier. Did she end up getting the at-bat, Joe? I know it was with 2 outs. I forgot.
No, she did not.
She did not. I knew she came out on deck. Didn't think she got the hit. And that finds the outside corner for a strike. 2, hitting the air on the infield. That's an infield fly.
So with an infield fly, the batter is called out. We have one away.
That will bring up Madeline Paul. And Paul takes up and away, ball 1. That catches the outside corner for a called strike.
Just when you think this Dolphins dugout can't get any more creative, they do. Nice little woo. Woo means a little something different in our circles, Joseph. Woo!
Well, there was a long history where that topic was not allowed to be spoken of on Sportsnet.
Wow.
As that skips in for ball 3.
Well, technically, they don't know what we're talking about.
Are you familiar with the story as to why we're not allowed to talk about wrestling?
Well, now they know what we're talking about, but yeah,
well,
go ahead.
That's fine. I mean, it's, effectively under our creative control now, but it wasn't always that way. We'll get into that story in a minute. It's 3-1 on Paul, and she went around with a half swing there. 3-2. Comes the payoff pitch from Eichhoff. And that's swung on and missed for strike 3. Paul goes down swinging, and it will be left to Deanna Dubois. And Dubois swings and misses, strike 1.
So Eichhoff on these last few pitches coming back towards the inner half of the plate. So far, Dolphins batters have not been able to get around on it.
It's popped up, but foul. And the count is quickly 0-2. So very quickly, the reason we can't talk about wrestling is that former SID at CSI, Dave Pizzuto, was working games in the press box, had a staffer who talked nonstop about wrestling. He got so upset, he almost put him on ball chasing duty, as that sails high, 1-2. But he said from that day forward, he never allowed any wrestling talk on Sportsnet or in the area in or around the press box. And Dubois looks at a called strike 3. That pitch right on the outside corner, and the Dolphins strand a pair in the second. We head to inning number 3 from the spring games in Claremont. Still no score between Staten Island and St. Cloud State. Third inning from Claremont. Huskies come to bat with no score. Corey Needham will lead things off, and she takes high for ball 1. Comes the 1-0. That's hit to the left side. Backhanded by Balderas, who wisely does not attempt to throw. First hit of the game for the Huskies. And they have a leadoff base runner.
Ball was hit a little too hard for Bridget Motley to get to. Hit perfectly in the hole that Balderas had no play.
Grace Damon is the batter now. Dolphins corners creep in as that pitch sails high. Miller has had a pair of quick innings to open this game. Now has to contend with a base runner. Comes the 1-0. That's in for a strike. Count even at 1 on the Huskies' second baseman. And the 1-1 pitch is bunted toward Acosta. She has time. And she throws out Damon for the first out.
It's a nice play by Acosta. It's not an easy play because she's got to field the bunt, then she's got to completely do the 180 on the turnaround to get that throw to first. And she did it very, very well.
So Damon is credited with the sacrifice. And now Bree Beck will be the batter. behind Beck. It's back to the top of the order. And Beck takes a strike on the inside corner. Comes the 0-1. That's taken up and in. Here comes the 1-1. And that is bunted toward third. Motley on the run makes the throw. And there are two gone.
So the Huskies here, consecutive bunts, getting the runner from first to third here, looking to manufacture that run in. But there are two outs here.
No way you can give that a sacrifice, right, Joe?
No.
And who covered first there, Warner or Acosta?
I believe it was Acosta. Was it?
I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah, not sure. I believe it was, because she wasn't showing bunt before the pitch. As that was hit well to center, but Stalker, again playing deep, was in the right spot, and she makes the catch to retire the side. So with that, Huskies strand a runner in scoring position in the third, and we are motoring along here in Claremont. We head to the home third inning with no score. Home third inning from the spring games, and Eileen Balderas swings and misses at her first pitch, drop pitch, 0-1. That's hit to third. Fielded cleanly there. The throw a bit low, but it's handled at first. One gone. Conversation going on right now between the home plate umpire and Dolphins head coach Tracy Garofalo.
It's always interesting to see what's going on in her mind. Second time she's called the umpire in these games today for a conversation.
That's hit well to medium deep left center, and once again the Dolphins attack the first pitch, and very quickly there are two gone in the inning.
Medium deep, huh?
Yeah.
Is that how you like your steaks? Like medium rare, medium deep?
I'm a medium well guy.
Are you?
I do not like rare meat.
Interesting.
I've never quite. I don't know. I just the optics of what looks like a half living, breathing animal on my plate just never sat right with me.
Well, I don't like it. I don't like it too rare. Last night, went to Texas Roadhouse, got a medium rare 20-ounce ribeye, and when I tell you, it was one of the best well-cooked pieces of meat I've ever had. It was superb. Like I mentioned to you, Texas Roadhouse very popular down here. One small notch, I think, better than Outback.
It's crazy because I've eaten quite a bit of Outback Steakhouse the last few months, and the reason for that is they cook in beef tallow, which right now I'm on that sort of diet, a lot of red meat, but I've never actually had a steak from there.
That's something
So
that's
I'm kind of defeating the purpose.
That's something that the next time you're down here, we'll definitely have to certainly try. But let's reset here. 2-2 on Wanzer with two outs in the third.
And she hits it a mile high, shallow left center, and coming in from left field to make the catch was Holceder. That'll do it for the Dolphins. They go down quickly once again. 1-2-3 in the home third. We head to the fourth with no score. Brooke Holmes, the batter. Still no score here in the fourth, as Brooklyn Meller deals a strike, 0-1. Comes the 0-1. Inside, 1-1. Well, Joe, I mentioned it earlier. Triple header today on Sportsnet. Obviously, our two games on the YouTube channel and then one on the ECC network. Our viewers right now pretty well set up to catch the entirety of all three games if we keep moving at this pace.
Absolutely. First time that part of the netting has been hit here for a game that we've done here. Now this is our third game, so First 3 days, we were kind of deprived of being in the Coliseum, and then yesterday we had 2. Today we have 1 to end our nice little Claremont getaway.
It's much cooler down here than it is on top of the hill. This is outside.
But yesterday was very cool. I mean, yesterday was the day if you were here, you needed long sleeves or a sweatshirt or something.
Count 2-2 now on Holmes. And she takes in the dirt, ball 3. I'm dressed for Buffalo out here right now, and I am very comfortable here versus up the hill at Field 4 for our first game.
Yeah, you got a long sleeve shirt, a fleece, and jeans on.
I got enough sun. That's it well out to right field, chasing Smith back toward the wall, and it lands at the base of the fence. Throw comes into Warner. It was bobbled, but it does not get far away enough. And it's a leadoff double for Brooke Holmes.
It's about as well head of a ball off Brooklyn Neller as we've seen in her 2 appearances.
Trying to call a fly ball to the outfield in this complex can get so tough because behind just about every wall, there is green grass. There is really no distinction between if the ball were to land right in front of the wall or over it, as that's popped up on the infield and Warner makes the catch.
It's a big out for Brooklyn Neller.
Bethany Weiss down on 1 pitch, 1 away in the inning. And now a dangerous cleanup hitter, and Maggie Fitzgerald will be the batter.
What that pop out to second did was keep the runner on second, Joe.
And that's big with less than 2 outs. And Fitzgerald takes up and away, ball 1. One out. Upstairs, ball 2. Fitzgerald 0 for 1, struck out her first time up. And now ahead in the count 2-0. I think that open base looms a little bit larger here. Comes the 2-0. Inside, ball 3. Comes the 3-0. Hit in the air out to right. Smith looking up into the sun. Dropped the ball. And the runner thought about it, but Holmes will stop at third.
So that will be an error on Smith in right. However, no damage done.
Well, the Dolphins are fortunate a run didn't score there. Smith dropped it and
Very
recovered
fortunate.
very quickly.
Very fortunate the runner out of the box isn't on second base either.
That too. And there's a good off-speed pitch from Meller as Sidney Rowe takes strike 1. Comes the 0-1. That's grounded foul. So with an 0-2 count now, Meller has a chance to get what would be a huge second out, leaving runners on the corners.
And as we've seen here in her 2 appearances, her go-to pitch is actually her changeup. So we'll see what she decides to throw here.
That's it right back to Meller. She looks toward third, throws to first, and gets the out there.
So good job keeping the runner at third, getting the out at first. In that instance, had to concede the runner going from first to second. So now the Wolves have runners, 2 runners in scoring position, second and third here. But the Dolphins have 2 outs.
And that's grounded through the left side for a base hit by Grace Fichette. That will score 2 runs, and Fichette is safe at second. What do you think, Joe? A double or a single and an advance on the throw?
Single advance on the throw. Two-run single, and then advance the second on the throw.
So a pair of unearned runs come in to score, And each run the rest of the way in this inning will be unearned as the error in right field now looms much larger. Dolphins trail 2-0, and Corey Needham takes a strike.
And that was a sharply hit ball to left field. Bridget Motley extended. Couldn't quite get there. Now the Dolphins are facing a deficit for the first time today.
Needham behind 0-2. Pitch from Meller. Rides up and inside. It's hit out to center. Stalker underneath it. And she makes the catch to retire the side. But not before the Huskies get on the board for the first time today. They score twice on a big 2-out single by Grace Fichette. It is now St. Cloud State 2 and Staten Island 0. Amanda Stalker will lead things off for the Dolphins here in the home fourth inning. Dolphins now trail for the first time in this game 2-0 as Stalker looks at a strike. A pair of unearned runs came in after a dropped fly ball in right field. And Stalker grounds one toward the left side, deep in the hole, and that will go down as a base hit.
Excellent placement from Stalker there. Similar spot to the run-scoring single from the Wolves in the last inning, and the Dolphins have their leadoff batter on.
That will bring up Bridget Motley. Motley 0 for 1. And she grounds one to the left side, but just foul. Well, Joe, I think we've seen it rather clearly in this game. The Dolphins, their approach all week has been very patient, and the games have really gone on for a long time. The average time of game has to be near 2 hours for us to
Oh,
see.
of course.
This game, already in the bottom half of the fourth inning.
We're about 35 minutes in.
And we're just over a half hour in.
Yep.
It's 0-2 now on Motley. And she takes outside.
But your approach should change from game to game. And again, in this game, playing a very good St. Cloud team, to being able to swing at those early strikes, just...
And Motley lines one off the glove of a diving Frechette and into left field.
Okay, now we have to talk this one out.
No,
Hard
don't.
hit, base hit.
That is a hit all
right,
day long.
all right.
That one we don't have to talk about, thankfully.
Okay.
We've had too many of those this week, haven't we?
Yeah.
Don't you just like a nice straightforward scoring?
Sure.
Especially when you're calling the game, because once you have to think about it, your eyes are off the action.
Right.
And you're trying to do play-by-play, and then you're not doing a very good job. As that's grounded to third, and that's going to be a double play. Well done by the Huskies infield as Holmes stepped on the third base bag and threw Olivia Warner out at first. 5-5-3 on the double play. And just like that, there are two gone. Soleil Smith, the batter, looks at a strike. And Smith's quickly behind 0-2.
2 pitches on the outer corner of the plate, 2 quick strikes.
And Smith fouled that one back.
That was a defensive swing, and I think that pitch was outside the plate. That ball looked like it was just on the edge of the other batter's box.
Did you see the flinch, Joe?
What's up?
You didn't see it, did you?
I did not.
We had flinch of the weekend as that's fouled back.
Once again, defensive swing from Soleil, swinging at a ball that's heading into the other batter's box.
To be clear, it wasn't me, though. It was not me.
Was not you on the flinch?
No. Another 0-2, grounded foul.
Good job by Soleil staying in the at-bat, getting the bat head around there, hooking that foul inside or outside the third base line.
Smith continuing to battle behind 0-2. That's popped up on the infield. Easy play at second, and the side is retired. Dolphins had a pair of base runners with nobody out, but they strand a runner in scoring position here in the fourth. We head to the fifth in Claremont. St. Cloud State 2, Staten Island nothing. And we are back for the fifth inning from Claremont. Dolphins trail 2-0 behind a pair of unearned runs for the Huskies in the fourth inning. Grace Frechette dealing the blow that put St. Cloud State ahead 2-0 with a 2-run single. At the plate here is Grace Damon, and she quickly has a 2-ball count. Dolphins have made a change in the outfield. Soleil Smith comes out of the game following her last at bat. Emma O'Neill comes in to play right. And Joe, I don't believe we've seen O'Neill in the field this week.
I don't think we've seen O'Neill in the field either.
It's 2-1 now. That's in for a called strike.
So good job by Brooklyn here. From behind 2-0 to get to 2-2.
2-2 on its way. And that pitch had a lot taken off. It's 3-2. You could see Damon lunge forward, prepared to swing, but wisely held up on that pitch out of the zone. It's now full, 3-2. The payoff pitch on its way. High, ball 4. Leadoff batter on for the Huskies here in the fifth. Bree Beck will be the batter now. And Beck fouls that one off. The Huskies center fielder 0 for 1 at the plate in this game. Dolphins have the infield in, expecting a bunt. At first swing, certainly no bunt. Motley about a step or two in front of the bag at third. Acosta in at first. And the runner is going. Paul's throw off the glove of Balderas and not in time.
So it's a good play by Balderas because runner got a really good jump, and Paul's throw was on target, but there was nobody at the base there. So good job preventing that from getting into center field and preventing any more damage.
That throw was perfect, and Balderas did a good job to keep it on the infield, but Balderas, if she's a step sooner, makes that a close play. Instead, she had to focus on just keeping the ball on the infield. And you can see it from here, Joe. There's a long way she has to go to cover second base.
Yes.
And as a catcher, you have to have trust.
You're the best in the biz, pal.
You have to have trust that your infielder is going to get there because you're throwing into no woman's land at second base.
That's right.
That foul ball right at us. It's 1-2.
And you did not flinch.
I did not flinch.
Hence the comment.
That's right. I had to clear that up. That's why I mentioned it. And that is ripped foul. Watch out in the third base coaching box.
Is that the St. Cloud head coach at third base?
Mitch Roberts in his fourth season as head coach.
I do not know. That's why I asked you.
Well, I was telling you.
Oh, it was?
I have this information, Joe.
Okay.
I'm a play-by-play guy. It's
There
my
you go.
job. 1-2. That misses high. So we were asked if we work in radio, and I jokingly said, well, I work for the college. You're the van driver. I didn't want to lead with your credentials because I thought it was funny if I said the van driver just hopped on the call with me. That's popped up to third, and Motley makes the play easily. 2 away. Make that 1 away.
Yes, 1 away, and that's a great pitch because, again, Brooklyn, what she does differently than all the rest of the Dolphins pitchers is she attacks batters with the changeup. And in that instance, she went to the inner half of the plate, got the pop-up, sky high to third.
Dolphins will have a conference at the circle here.
So we are now working in her 10th overall inning of work so far down here in Claremont for Brooklyn. She pitched, like I said, 5 innings against Franklin Pierce. She's currently in the 5th inning here, her first start. Worked her way into trouble multiple times, but that changeup has bailed her out, certainly. A couple more instances.
So Reese Holsteeder, excuse me, will be the batter. I will say that the text on the roster is very small. And I'm trying to read it from a bit of a distance away here.
Right.
We have the stats laptop right in front. Holsteeder 0 for 2. Shows bunt and bunts it foul. They're about 30 minutes away from getting started on Staten Island. Dolphins and Cougars, so once this game ends, be sure to check that out on the ECC network. Maybe I'll even call in from the airport. You never know, Joe.
I don't think you're going to have time to do that. I think as soon as you get there, you'll be seated, and then very quickly you'll be boarding your plane to Buffalo shortly after.
Let's hope so, because that misses outside. Or did it? Was that a late strike call?
I believe that was called a strike on the outer corner.
The ball was back in Meller's glove. Either way, it's 0-2. Bunt probably off now. The Dolphins were leaving a big gap there on the line. Motley back in position now. And that's fouled away. Motley reaches up, no room.
If that ball is hit 2 feet, a little more to the field, that would have been a Motley's glove. But as it stands, it hits the very top of the dugout.
If Motley was adept at climbing fences, maybe she had a chance. It did hit the top of the fence or the top of the dugout?
Top of the dugout.
Yeah, she would have really had to get up that fence.
We'll say 2.5 feet, just to give a little cushion.
That's grounded to the right side and through for a base hit. That will bring in a run, and the Dolphins wisely hit the cutoff on that throw. Holsteeder reaches on an RBI single, and the Huskies are now in front 3-0.
So there was real no miscommunication here, but that ball was hit so perfectly in that second base hole. Acosta made one step to her right, looking to attempt to play the ball, and she did not. And Warner made the effort, and she was just a little bit late on that. So again, another well-placed ball hit by the Wolves, and this deficit for CSI Dolphins now turns to 3.
Wrong canine for the Huskies.
Huskies.
As the runner steals second.
Huskies.
So stolen base for Holsteeder.
So it's the second time in this game the Huskies have stolen a base.
My special when it comes to mixing up mascots, we'll be playing Georgian Court, and they're the Lions. So we play Malloy all the time. They're the Lions. Every once in a while, I'll call a Georgian Court game, and instead of Georgian Court, I'll say Malloy because I've been saying Lions the whole game.
Right.
That's usually where it gets me. Brooke Holmes ahead 2-0 now. And she looks at a strike. Long look in for Meller ahead of the 2-1. Off-speed pitch low. There was just action in the Dolphins' bullpen back beyond the left field wall. It's very brief. Runner on second here with 1 out.
Thinking this might be Neller's last inning either way.
And Meller misses low with ball 4, and I think that might be it, Joe. And it looks like that is indeed all. And the Dolphins are going to make a pitching change here. Alexandra Frenza comes in to pitch. As she gets warm, we'll step aside and take a break. Huskies threatening once again here in the 5th. 1 run already home. St. Cloud State leads Staten Island 3-0. The action resumes here in the top of the 5th. The Huskies now leading the Dolphins 3-0 and looking for more. Bethany Weiss is the batter. She's ahead 1-0 against New Dolphins pitcher Alexandra Frenza. Frenza comes on in relief of Brooklyn Meller as that got away from Paul just a bit, and both runners will move up a base. That didn't bounce in, right, Joe?
No, it did not.
That is a passed ball. And that's it out to shallow center. Stalker playing deep, comes in to make the catch. She throws home up the line. It gets away, and that allows the runner to move up to third.
So the Huskies are going to trade a fly out to center for another run. Tack on one, and their lead is now 4-0.
As of right now, Joe, that run is unearned because of the passed ball. We'll see if that changes. Brooklyn Meller still responsible for the runner over at third base. Count 1-0 here on Maggie Fitzgerald, and she takes ball 2. Comes the 2-0. Good off-speed pitch in for a strike. That's off the glove of Paul. Here comes the runner. And Holmes is in to score. It's another pass ball, Joe. And Tracy Garofalo has asked for time here. And I think the Dolphins are making a change behind the plate. And I think it's going to be Olivia Wanzer. I think Tracy said the DP is coming in to catch. And we have not seen Wanzer behind the plate at all this year. And I'm not sure if she's caught in any game I've called.
Madeline Paul has been the catcher this entire time. Not a good sequence from her over the last couple of batters. But still a strong trip overall regardless.
So as the Dolphins get Wanzer in her catcher's gear, we'll step off headset for just a moment. When we come back, Huskies lead 5-0, looking to keep the rally going here in the 5th. So the at-bat continues following a change behind the plate, and Maggie Fitzgerald takes ball 4. So Frenza issues the walk, and now the Huskies have a 2-out base runner.
There was more action in the Dolphins' bullpen. Did not see who was out there. But something to note and watch for as this game gets into the later innings, Joe.
I'm just checking on our live stream here. It says the stream is finished. I want to make sure that is not the case. All right, we're all good.
We're all good?
We're all good.
Okay. We're still here.
0-1 the count.
We're not going anywhere yet.
Not yet. Sydney Rowe takes a knee-high strike.
Give it another 30 to 45 minutes.
Comes the 0-2, and that's upstairs. Well, it's going to be a very quick sign-off, as we've mentioned already. I have a plane to catch. Well, Joe, it's been a blast.
Literally, you have a plane to catch.
It's literal. I'm grateful that I've had you here all week. It makes my job a lot easier, and I know our viewers have enjoyed it, as they've told us in person. And was that one in the dirt, Joe?
Yes.
I think that one was wild, though it could have been stopped, but it didn't reach the plate, so it goes down as a wild pitch.
Count 2-2.
And it's a dead ball off the batter. Chopped foul. Another 2-2 coming. And that's grounded to short. Balderas fields it behind the runner and throws out Road to retire the side. But not before the Huskies add 3 runs to their lead. It is now St. Cloud State 5 and Staten Island nothing as we head to the home 5th. Pinch hitter for the Dolphins here, Taryn Judson moves into the DP spot after Madeline Paul and Olivia Wanzer swapped positions during the previous half inning. Judson looks at a first pitch strike, 0-1. Judson's gotten a lot of work off the Dolphins bench this week as a pinch hitter. And she's quickly in a 2-strike hole. That's dribbled to third. Throw across the diamond in time, and Judson is out. 1 away. That will bring up Deanna Dubois. And she pops the first pitch up. Foul ground. Out of play.
Almost a souvenir for us. Had a lot of those. Could be bringing back a lot of balls home from Claremont.
Hello.
Goodbye.
That's a nice wake-up call for us. Fouled straight back,
right off the pipe,
at the pole in front of us.
Off the crossbar.
Neither one of us flinched. 0-2 on Dubois. And she chases up and away, swings through it, and is a strikeout victim. 2 gone. That will bring up Eileen Balderas as the Dolphins turn it over back to the top of the lineup. And Balderas hits that pretty well out to right center. But getting underneath it to make the catch was Beck to retire the side. Dolphins go down 1-2-3 in the home 5th. It remains 5-0 Huskies. And we are back for the top half of the 6th inning. Dolphins trail 5-0. Alexandra Frenza back to the circle, and she delivers a first pitch strike. Grace Frechette at the plate, delivered a 2 RBI base hit earlier. And she now has a 1-1 count. The 1-1. Misses high. And 2-1 is hit in the air, out to right center. And Stalker makes the catch on the run. 1 away. Corey Needham, the batter. Needham is 1 for 2, and she takes a strike. And the 0-1 is swung on and missed for strike 2. Oh, and 2 now on Needham. Half swing blooper, and Balderas makes the basket catch.
Over the shoulder. Routine, just like they drew it up.
Routine, you say?
That's right. Player of her caliber making a play like that always makes it look routine. 2-way.
Grace Damon at the plate now. And she takes a strike.
Frenza looks like she's really getting into a rhythm now.
Damon, without an official at-bat, has walked and laid down a sacrifice. And you're right, Joe. Frenza does look to be in a groove. Getting a clean inning here obviously inherited some base runners in the last inning. Turns out both of those runs in the last inning were unearned because of the back-to-back passed balls. I'll have to go back and piece the inning together, but I think that's right. That pitch in for a strike. I think the only way you'd get an earned run out of it is the sacrifice fly moving the runner up from second to third, and then on the wild pitch, that run scores. That's assuming no passed balls, so unless you have a really good memory, you're probably not following. You follow me, Joe?
I am following you.
I knew it. I knew I could count on you. When you started rattling off that Meller had pitched 10 innings on the trip out of memory, I was like, impressive. That's down and in, because I certainly didn't know.
Well, she pitched 5 in the last game, and she did not pitch 10 total. She was, I believe, Frenzy came in with what, 1 out?
It's a good question. So we have live stats for her. She's
That's
pitched an inning and a third.
Okay. She came in with
1 out.
With 1 out last inning.
And she issues the walk here to Damon. 2-out base runner for the Huskies. Bree Beck will be the batter, but it looks like she may have been called back to the dugout here, so we're going to get a pinch hitter.
$21 for 23. You got that, Joe?
That's Evie Polfus. So Polfus will pinch hit here with 2 outs and a runner on in the road 6th inning. Dolphins need to keep this deficit right where it is to have a shot. Friends' first pitch up and away, ball 1. Want to know the count on Polfus? That is fouled straight back.
Best in the biz.
Unflappable. Unshakable. Immovable.
Unmovable. That's the word I would use.
Immovable. Am I the unstoppable force or the immovable object? Depends on the day. Comes the 1-1. And that's swung on and missed for strike 2. That should be the name of our tandem, the unstoppable force and the immovable object.
So I am the unstoppable force.
I guess so. I could be the unstoppable foreman.
Ooh, I like that.
Could be.
I like that. Bavona's going to like that, too.
Oh, yeah? That pitch misses. Throw to second, not in time. And Damon steals the base.
Alert base running by the Huskies in this game. Wanzer, who came into the game, pretty accurate throw to second base there, but once again it was Balderas a little late getting there.
That's hitting the air pretty well out to center, but Stalker has room, and she makes the catch. Now, the runner was tagging with 2 outs, but there were 2 outs, and the inning is over. Damon has a good laugh about it, but her team still leads by 5 runs. We head to the home 5th inning. St. Cloud State 5, Staten Island nothing. Anissa Acosta, the batter for the Dolphins, to lead off in the home 6th inning. Dolphins trail 5-0, and Acosta takes outside. 2-0. And that pitch skips into Acosta. 3-0 now.
Should be taken all the way.
Dolphins came out in this game very aggressive at the plate. They've dialed it back a bit as Acosta takes a strike.
Now they need base runners more so than to attack those first pitch strike opportunities. So see what she does here.
And
Ooh.
Acosta lines one off of Eichhoff's glove. No chance for the Huskies infield. And fortunately for Eichhoff, that caught her glove and nothing else. That ball was scorched.
She almost made some unbelievable play.
That would have been an
she had her
incredible snag.
glove in her position to make that play.
They're going to check on her briefly. The question is, where in the glove did the ball hit. It looked to hit pretty low.
I was gonna say right over here. You can't. Our viewers and listeners can't really see, but
Jalen Martinez will pinch run for Acosta at first. Olivia Wanzer, the batter. Wanzer 1 for 2 at the plate in this game. The Dolphins need base runners. Down to their final 6 outs, trailing by 5. And Wanzer pops it up just beyond the infield. And calling in center to make the catch was Beck. That will bring up Amanda Stalker. I think she's made a point, Joe, of not drawing a walk this game.
she's not been in position to draw as many walks as last game.
Well, you shared her new nickname with her after the last game.
That was only a one-game thing.
It's only a one-game thing?
Only a one-game thing.
Tell Nick Durst that.
She's got a propensity for
a
joining
game
the rest
later
of the
in
season.
year.
That's going to hit the top of the...
Right off the top of the netting.
That's right.
0-2. The 0-2 misses outside. And that's a letter high strike 3 call. Give me that look, Joe. We're allowed to say something. We're paid to speak.
Felt like that arced in a little bit. It's a difficult pitch to look at for strike 3.
Might not be the only one with a flight to catch. That's in for a strike.
Oh, boy.
Bridget Motley at the plate now. She's 1 for 2. Martinez still over at first after Acosta drew the leadoff walk. And the count evens up on Motley at 1-1. That's chopped toward the middle. Tough hop.
Nice play by the shortstop fielding that tough hop.
Frechette with a nice play on the in-between hop, and the Dolphins are turned aside in the 6th. Huskies will look for some insurance when we come back. They lead Staten Island 5-0. Top of the 7th inning from Claremont here at the Spring Games. Dolphins in their final game of this Florida trip trail 5-0. Dolphins 5-4 through the first 9. Huskies looking for some insurance with their 5-run lead. New Dolphins pitcher is Alexis Miramontes. Her 3rd appearance of this trip, and she deals the first pitch strike. Hannah Harms getting her first at bat of this game. 0-1. Hit pretty well to left center field, and that will land in the gap for extra bases. Harms into second base, turns and heads for third. Balderas throws offline, and it skips toward the Dolphins' dugout, but it was backed up there, and Harms will stand at third with a triple.
As well hit of a ball as you're going to see, Joe, perfectly splitting the left fielder and the center fielder in that left center field gap. Good base running by Arms there on the turn on second, hustling, getting into third, and forcing an errant throw that luckily did not cost the Dolphins any further.
How about that for a first swing? Leadoff runner on third for the Huskies. Dolphins infield in maybe a step, if that. At the plate now is Brooke Holmes. She's behind 0-1. Holmes at the plate, 1 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout.
Be very interesting to see if the Huskies force a play at the plate.
And the 0-1 is outside. Here comes the 1-1. Up and away. Miramontes now behind Holmes, 2-1. And she misses outside with ball 3. Comes the 3-1. Off the corner, ball 4. That will bring up Bethany Weiss. Weiss 0 for 2, does have an RBI. That came on a sacrifice fly earlier in the game. Runners on the corners, nobody out for the Huskies. And Weiss takes high. So Miramontes now has missed with 5 straight.
Yeah, I was going to say, she's lost the zone here. Working on the outer portion, high and away. 2 of these have been close, 3 of these not really so close.
Runner going, Wanzer's throw low, and it got away from Warner. And Balderas got shaken up a bit on that slide. She looks all right.
She looks all right, walking it off.
So do you give that?
Stolen base.
Well, stolen base at second. It taking home on the throw?
Yes. I believe that is the Huskies' 4th stolen base of this game. 2 when Madeline Paul was the catcher, 2 with Wanzer at the catcher.
Miramontes still having trouble finding the zone. It is 2-1 as she dealt a strike on the 2-0 pitch. Still nobody out here in the 7th. And that's hit sharply to short. Balderas handles and throws to first to Joe. Eileen just made another tough play look easy.
It's incredible how many hard, difficult plays she makes look so simple. Your alarm going off.
Yep.
Confirms what we just said.
That will be the last time that my alarm goes off telling me to visit the post office on this trip. 2 straight weeks of ignoring the alarm. To me, that is unheard of. It has been very, very unusual not having to deal in any merchandise for 2 weeks straight.
Rumor has it that the United States Postal Service is still in business solely because of Joseph Foreman. Is that
really?
true? Yes.
Well,
I'm catching up pretty quickly.
I can't take all the credit. Count now 2-0 on Maggie Fitzgerald. 1 away here in the 7th.
I've had some success of unloading some old jerseys that haven't fit me lately. So
there's a called strike, 2-1. Well, every once in a while I will unload an old jersey, but at this point, I don't have many of those left.
And then you're playing a dangerous game because then you start buying jerseys and then you start selling jerseys, and it's a vicious cycle. Wouldn't recommend.
I would, as that's hit in the air. A mile high out toward right center, and Stalker makes the catch.
Good job by the Huskies. Alert base running, tagging up on that. But Miramontes, who was struggling to find the zone here, much better the last 2 batters. The Dolphins have 2 outs.
Sydney Rowe is the batter. Runner on third, 2 gone now for the Huskies. They lead at 6-0. Pitch on its way. Outside, ball 1.
Miramontes continue to work outside.
Rowe 0 for 3 in this game. There's a swing and a miss, 1-1.
Miramontes taking a little bit off of that pitch.
Comes the 1-1. Swing and a miss again, strike 2.
Back-to-back off-speed pitches. She's been working that same portion of the plate virtually since she entered the game.
Comes the 1-2. Outside. And that rides inside, or perhaps not. Row down looking.
So that pitch definitely across the corner, but from our vantage point, it did look high, Joe. So regardless, the Dolphins get a little bit of a gift here in the end of the top of the 7th inning.
Miramontes will take it. And we head to the home 7th. The Dolphins trail 6-0. The home 7th inning opens with a strike to Olivia Warner. She's behind 0-1. Count now even at 1. Taking a look over at our baseball live stats to see if they ended up getting them running. They did not. Count 1-2 now.
Well, Joseph, Dolphins face a 6-run deficit as Warner takes that pitch low, just off the plate for 2-2. But we've had a great time here. What you would like to see here from the Dolphins is a little bit of fight here at the end of this game. 6 runs is a lot.
That's hit well to left, but that is just not where you want to hit the ball, Joe.
So this is, I would say, at least the 3rd time that Olivia Warner has stepped up to the plate and absolutely elevated a ball that we had a warning track here. We get to the warning track.
Yeah, Warner has put some really good swings on the ball this week, has not had much luck. And Emma O'Neill will get her first at bat of the game. And there's a swing and a miss for strike 1.
But as I was saying, I've had such a great time here. Let's see if the Dolphins can put up a little bit of a fight here.
That's fouled away, 0-2.
Difficult game defensively. I think the pitching has been all right in this game. Brooklyn Eller was good. Frenza was good. Miramontes came in, and for the first couple of batters, she didn't really have the plate. That said, it's very hard to win, Joe, when you don't score.
Well, Dolphins have not been shut out yet on this trip, and now they're down to their final out without a run. Were they shut out in the first game against Southwest Minnesota, or did they get one? I'd have to double check.
Yeah.
They might have been shut out once.
Yeah, you would have to double check that.
Taryn Judson will be the batter.
Did they get one?
They might have gotten one.
I feel like it may have been, 6-1? No.
I'm going to double check. That's what our website's for us. That's grounded foul.
That's correct.
0-1.
So they lost that second game 11-4. Don't remember the score exactly of that first game. No, unfortunately, I can remember 7-3.
They were shut out. It was 7-0.
It was 7-0.
They lost both games by 7. It was 7-0 and 11-4.
Okay. So to avoid being shut out the second time this trip, Johnson at the plate again.
It's 1-1 on Judson. That's blooped just beyond the infield, and it falls in shallow center for a base hit.
CSI, a little bit of life here.
Judson dunks one into center, and the Dolphins continue to stay alive. So last year on this trip, Dolphins won twice.
In how many games?
10. So if the Dolphins were to not come back in this game, they would finish 5-5 on the trip this year. Their roster from last year to this year, very, very similar. Typically on this trip, 7 of the 8 position players who have started most of the games were on the team last year.
So what I think you could take away from this trip is that most of these at-bats in all these games, that might be the final time we were flinch tested and we both passed with flying colors. But to complete my statement, the big takeaways from this trip, most of these plate appearances, these at-bats, have been quality at-bats. Like I said, taking pitches that you're supposed to. The pitching, a little up and down, a little more up than down, I think. What you mentioned in the earlier game. Coach Christine has done an excellent job from their pitchers from 2 years ago to last year, and from last year to this year. You do see noticeable improvements. Obviously, everything happens in increments, but the defensive configuration, I think, will remain an issue, and that is something that I think head coach Tracy Garofalo and the rest of the coaches will try to figure out on the plane ride back to New York early tomorrow morning.
And Deanna Dubois lines one straight to short, and that will do it. Dolphins fall in their Florida trip finale here at the Spring Games by a final score of 6-0. St. Cloud State picks up the win in decisive fashion. The Dolphins shut out for the second time this week, but Joe, you said it. Overall, I think it wasn't just the pitching for the team. It was a bit more up than down this week, and something that shouldn't be lost in all of it is that when they did drop those 2 games by 7 runs against Southwest Minnesota State, they were playing for the 3rd straight day.
Yes, they were.
So that's something else to keep in mind as the Dolphins still apparently have a lot of life in those legs. They are racing out to left field.
Yeah, I think they bit by a couple of shaky defensive innings today. I think Brooklyn Neller, once again, pitched very well. Majority of the runs that she gave up were unearned runs. Forensic came in, looked good in the inning or so that she was in. Miramontes did not have the plate at the beginning, but she kind of settled in too. But once again, it's difficult when you don't have any offense to speak of, and the Dolphins were shut out twice this trip. So, but a lot of good to take away. The at-bats were good. Let's see if they can figure out the defense moving forward.
All right, Joe, it's been a pleasure calling these games with you all week.
A lot of fun. Yep.
We thank everyone in the live chat for all of their positive feedback throughout the week, and, of course, all of those who came up to us here at the complex and thanked us for the work that we do. Joe and I have had a blast, but as for me, Joe, I wasn't kidding. I have a plane to catch. It's off to Buffalo tonight.
Let's go.
As the men's and women's basketball team
are
playing in the East Coast Conference semifinals tomorrow.
Once again, shout out to Jenelise Allercott for winning Player of the Year at the ECC.
Huge shout out to Jenelise and to both men's and women's basketball. I'll see you soon. I'm boarding my flight tonight at 8:30 on my way to Buffalo. But until next time, this has been Joe Foreman alongside Joe Calabrese. Tune over to the ECC Network right now. You have Nick Durst, Nick Bavona, and Sam Whalen on the call as baseball takes on Caldwell University. Everyone have a great weekend and enjoy the rest of your Friday night.